welcome to We Watch Bad Films, the podcast where we watch bad films so you don't have to. Joining me today is Jay. Hello, Jay.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Okay, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. It's a crazy week, and what would really help me out is if we could watch a terrible film and get past it.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I can. I don't know if any of these films are going to help you, Gary, but
Wait,
certainly...
any of these films?
That means because I've got a list of quite a few awful instruments of torture for you.
See, I don't know why I ring you. I really don't.
No, I don't know why you do either. Anyway, this is going to be it. This is our legacy, Gary. So we're suffering for our art.
Indeed. So, how many instruments of torture do you have for me?
Well, I'm just looking at this list. I mean, this is my sub list. I've told you already. I have a very long list of crap prepared for me in the dusty annals of terrible films. But this is my go-to list, and on this list at the moment, I've got eight.
Eight
terrible films. Yeah.
And I guess if they're numbered 1 to 8, and I could pick one, and then I could choose my destruction, just like the end of Ghostbusters.
My God, yeah, I know.
I quite fancy watching Ghostbusters. Actually, is that on the list?
Unfortunately not. Although probably you could probably put the most recent Ghostbusters on there, where they did the all-female remake, which is
a pretty bad film. And might actually be too bad for this podcast.
Yeah, there's different levels of bad, which we have definitely experienced recently.
Yeah. Okay then, and because I'm a man of decision, I'm going to decide now that we will go to the top of the shop and we will have film number 1.
Oh my God. Okay, film number 1 is... Now, when I found this film earlier, this I sort of misread it, and I thought it was a Star Wars spin-off called Cruel Jawas. It's actually called Cruel Jaws.
Okay. Well,
I don't know which is worse.
It could be a Star Wars spin-off. It could be a shark spin-off.
Oh dear, Cruel Jaws. So, like we did last week, we'll do a little synopsis and rundown after we've watched it. But I think we're going to go in blind with this one again.
Can you just tell me what year it's from?
Yes, it is. No, I can't. But it's definitely. Oh, here we go. 1995.
95.
Yeah, 1995.
That's an odd era. That's an odd era.
It's actually got 3 different titles. It's known mostly as Cruel Jaws. It's also sometimes known as Jaws 5, Cruel Jaws.
Oh, it is part of the Jaws franchise?
It seems to think it is. I don't think the rest of the Jaws franchise agrees with them. Okay. But it can also sometimes be listed with its full title, Jaws 5, Cruel Jaws, aka The Beast.
That's snappy. The Beast. So we've got an X-Men crossover as well. What's always a good way of figuring out what a film's like is how much punctuation. If we go with that full title, how much punctuation is in that title?
When you got colons, you've got also known as. I mean, it's all basically just gibberish, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Is it too late to change my answer?
It's always too late. Yeah.
Okay. I guess the best thing to do then is to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to it.
Cool.
Talk rubbish, boy. This is not the place nor the time.
He's gotta be over 8 meters long!
watched Cruel Jaws from 1995, and I have to say, I feel pretty okay about it.
Yeah, it's like that sounded like an admission rather than you really enjoyed it and are proud of watching it.
Well, I'm not proud of anything we do on this show, but that was at least enjoyable. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's barely even worth it, but I'm going to summarise the plot because there's not a lot. There's not a lot of it. So yeah, if you want to skip this bit, it's a shark film. You know all you need to know.
Or watch Jaws, basically.
Or not Jaws, yeah. Or watch Jaws. Well, you'll just have a better time. But we open on some scuba divers pillaging a wreck, which awakes a giant shark. We then cut to a dolphin SeaWorld type place, and we're introduced to the main characters. Shark attacks continue at the beach, but what do you know? The mayor type character is like, no, it's fine. Let's put our regatta on regardless, even though people are getting murdered and killed by a shark. Lo and behold, they put a regatta on. Shark attacks continue. Mayor decides to shut things down. Mafia boss wades in from somewhere to say, no, you've got to also kill the shark. Okay, that bit. Everyone goes out on a mass expedition, and they blow up the shark. I can't even be bothered. It's shambolic. Suffice to say, shark attacks. Humans win in the end, probably.
Well, it's basically a rip-off of the film Jaws, hence the name Cruel Jaws, stroke Jaws 5 Cruel Jaws. But a really, really shoddy version of it with some extra
rip-off. Is too
crap.
kind of phrase for this.
Yeah,
rip-off when you actually use clips from Jaws in your film.
Yes, they do, and lots of other films apparently.
Yes, and lots of other mad copyright teasing pulls as well. I mean, I can't go any further without talking about the straight lifts of the Star Wars theme music. I just don't know how they do it. I'm going to play a clip of it here. Yeah, so there we go. Straight lift from Star Wars. What were you going to say about that?
Well, we've just finished watching the credits, and the credits has these bizarre little snippets of the very famous parts of the Star Wars soundtrack, and I'm just humming the Star Wars soundtrack in my head now, talking about Cruel Jaws. Mad. Absolutely mad.
Yeah, it's an absolutely mad film. They also just rip off an entire piece of dialogue from Jurassic Park. They're in a briefing room, and he says, "Oh yeah, your guts will be hanging out, and you're still alive when he starts to eat you." It says the John Grant speech from the beginning of Jurassic Park.
Is that the scene when they had the big picture of the shark and they had all the different parts of it labelled?
Yes. What were any of the labels that you could make out?
I've just got 2 words written down, Gary. I've got the words anal fin.
Nothing funny about that.
I think that's what this film should have been called. It would have been a better name.
It probably has a porn parody called that.
It went pretty porny halfway through, didn't it? There's quite a few shots where we thought, oh, this is going to go wrong. Lots of almost tits, lots of arses, lots of flesh everywhere, and not the ones
lots
getting
of butt
eaten.
Bodies.
Yeah,
lots of very tight shorts.
Yeah, thongs aplenty. Here's another title potential.
Let's not forget this was also created during the era of Baywatch, which probably had something to do with it.
Yes. Did they have sharks in Baywatch? They should have had.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I ever saw a single episode.
Me neither.
My life doesn't feel any the poorer for it. Which I think at one point was the most watched TV program on earth because of its syndication. and I never saw it.
Well, that's an achievement, really.
Guess so. I guess so.
You're like watching Cruel Jaws.
Yeah. So, where do we start with this? Do we start with Hulk Hogan?
Oh God, so
So
weird.
there's a guy, an actor, who looks really, really a lot like Hulk Hogan, and I mean not just a little bit, but he's got the full handlebar moustache and the weird, long-haired monk's haircut as well, in blonde, and the same sort of pufferfish expression. He doesn't have the body. Let's be quite clear. He also never gets in the water, which I find quite interesting. And
No, he doesn't, does he?
The character's called Dag Snerenson, which is the weirdest name for a normal character I think I've ever heard.
Dag Snerenson.
Yeah, what?
I thought sounded like a skin disease or something.
Yes, quite.
Yeah. Every time he was on the screen, also, you and I went quiet, and I think sort of about a third of the way through, you said something like, "I'm sorry, whenever Hulk Hogan appears on the screen, I just freeze because I'm trying to process. There's a man who looks just like Hulk Hogan on the screen."
The thing is, he's close enough to being Hulk Hogan, is that I think it might actually, I know he's not, he might actually be Hulk Hogan. I think that's what I'm watching, just in case it is. Just in case.
I know. He's going to start suplexing people.
Oh, no. No, he says his prayer.
I was hoping that was going to be the end. He was going to get into the water and start wrestling the actual sharks.
And body slam you in front of 97,137 other fish.
What else should we talk about? I've got lots of quotes written down. Have you got any quotes written down, Gary?
I've got loads of quotes written down because the script was bananas.
It was.
I mean, they first start to describe the shark as a sort of locomotive with a mouthful of butcher's knives.
Sort of locomotive.
It's the word locomotive in there is just, yeah.
It's so specific.
Right. Yes.
It's like.
Yes, it's very.
It's like the phrase articulated lorry or something. It's like as soon as you say locomotive, you have a picture of a train. It's describing a shark.
Yeah. Yeah. There was also that they couldn't resist using the line, "We're going to need a bigger helicopter."
Oh my God.
When it was the chief of police, wasn't it? The chief of police takes a helicopter out to the sea. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do. He dangles a piece of meat.
I can tell you what he's doing. He's trying to fish for a shark by dangling a gammon over the side of a helicopter, and he's trying to helicopter the shark away. But the shark leaps up to the helicopter and grabs
and munches it out of the air. What was he? Was he gonna? Was like the shark had grabbed the meat and then he would just pull it out, and the shark would then never open its mouth again. Carry it over the city. Hey, the shark just ignore.
They probably
it's not a good plan.
They probably cut that bit out of the of that scene where they're describing what a shark does. You know, the locomotive with knives thing, where it says, "Oh yeah, once a shark has clamped its teeth around a gammon whilst being flown through the air by a helicopter, it never lets go."
It's clearly right.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
It's obvious now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and find director's cut.
Yeah.
7-hour director cut.
Well, the director's cut is called Jaws, I think, because there was no director of this. And then there's a director listed, but the footage is basically, this film is 90% cobbled together from other people's films. Yeah.
So the director is listed as William Snyder, but it's actually a guy called Bruno Mattei, who, looking at his profile, has made a lot of really bad stuff that I kind of want to watch.
Yeah, I know. We saw that there's like a film which has got, it's named something, I can't remember what it's called, but
like Shock Encounter or something.
But the front cover has the words Terminator 2 written on it with a shoddy Terminator 2 rip-off picture in it. And we both said, oh, we've got to watch that.
That's going on the list.
Yeah. I've got a few more quotes. I've got, for some reason, about 3 or 4 characters say a variant of "rip his balls off" about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's good natural dialogue. Yeah.
I've got.
Actually, and I think it's unlocked a piece of the plot for me. In quotes, someone's trying to poison dolphins. If you remember, Hulk Hogan was sniffing fish at one point.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Because the dolphin was poisoned and they had to inject it. I don't know. But is that because, I think I'm piecing stuff together now, is that because the mafia bosses wanted to get rid of the dolphin sanctuary, put a hotel up instead?
Oh, I mean, probably. I mean, just throw a dart at a plot point and see if it sticks, basically, because all manner of cack was going on. There was this.
I think you had it right when you said they're trying to make a subplot, but the mafia want to kill the shark as well. They don't have there's no antagonism there. They all want the same result.
No. There's meant to be this subplot of the main bad guy who he's set up as the bad guy, but then you start to realize, oh, he's actually under a lot of pressure from the mafia, and they are meant to be like the people who are like the puppet masters behind what's going on with the bad guy, and you would imagine that they would be pressuring him to do something like ignore the shark, get the regatta happening.
Yes.
But really what happens is
the mayor in Jaws who is trying to keep the 4th of July.
Exactly. But what happens is the mafia want him to kill the shark, and then so do all the main characters. And so the 2 plot points who are meant to be at odds with each other actually end up having exactly the same goal, which is nuts. Shoddy. This film is shod-tastic, but actually quite entertaining.
It is entertaining. Speaking of shoddy, I think so we all know, I think it's a happy accident that Jaws, they ended up not showing a lot of the shark, basically because it didn't look very good. Yeah. So Spielberg just worked his magic and edited around it until it was absolutely critical, by which time you're invested enough in the shark to kind of go along with it. But here, they start showing the shark straight away, and they use stock footage of sharks. They use Spielberg footage of sharks. They use some crap puppet shark thing. They use all sorts. And I never felt terrified, as I think you're supposed to. It's more like a nature documentary. You just like, there's a shark, as opposed to the sheer terror that sharks can cause when they're presented correctly on film.
Well, I think one of the characters does say something along the lines of, "Yeah, the sharks aren't the worst animal," and he looks at the bad guy, the sort of like the mayor type character, which has a bit of like a Venn diagram crossover with Birdemic, if you remember.
Ah, yes. Don't remind me, but yes.
Yeah, I found the scariest part of this film the acting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, none of them had a credit to their name. They were just marched in off the street to repeat lines they'd just been told.
And I don't know who you thought was the worst, Gary, but I can tell you who I thought was my worst.
I know what you're going to say. And you're going to be really
what am I going to say, Gary?
No, I'm not going to rob you of the joy. You say it. Go
on. The annoying, whimpering little brat of a girl who farts around with the dolphins and just goes on and on, like in this whiny voice about my dolphins this and my dolphins that. Oh, Daddy, are you gonna kill the shark? And I think she even says the line, "Sharks are bad," at some point.
She does say that, yes. She didn't really have any purpose in the film, did she? She wasn't put in danger. She wasn't, she didn't provide any moments of wonder. She was just there.
Other than to wind me up. Yeah.
Well, specifically.
There was one point where she was in the water and the shark was very close, and I was so looking forward to having a bit of a shark girl face off, but it didn't happen.
The shark girl face off did not happen, no.
Missed opportunity.
Plenty of pink blancmange in the water though when they couldn't be bothered to make.
Talking of pink, Gary, do you remember the Pink family?
Yes, I do.
What was that about?
Yeah. So the mafia took a particular shine to. He was about
Oh my God, I forgot about him. No, I'm talking about the Pink family who are obsessed. They're shark fanboys. Do you remember the British, the random Brit guy with his family?
Yeah. Who turns up, slaps the crap out of his son, and then what happened to them?
He says he's a British guy. He turns up with his family, and everyone's wearing pink for some reason, and he's speaking with an English accent, which is already a bit, well, what's going on here? And they're going on about, is this the beach with the shark? And Hulk Hogan's going, or one of the characters is going, yeah, it was, and the English guy's just going, yeah, we're here for the shark. If there's no shark, then we're gonna go home. And his family are all wearing pink, and then his little son says something, and he says, oh, Ronnie, shut up, and he slaps him round the face.
Yeah, but then he says, oh, look, run after them, they're going for the shark. And then I don't think we see them again, do we?
No, we don't. That's the end.
But what like they put themselves in danger and get eaten or anything.
But what you touched on just then was the other little guy, the other pink man.
Yeah, you loved him.
Yes.
He was about 4 foot tall, pink trousers, pink shorts, and wielded a shotgun like a madman.
Yeah, so these are the mafia guys, aren't they? So the main mafia man who has exactly the same goal as everyone else in the film and is in no way a threat to anyone, has these two henchmen who are basically little and large. One huge wrestler guy and another bizarre. I'm saying bizarre because there's no explanation or reason as to why he's about 4 foot tall, wearing pink satin trousers and a pink Bermuda shorts top thing, and they are hilarious and they're awful, and every time those two were on the screen I couldn't stop laughing. It was hilarious.
Yeah, they were quite the comedy couple.
Don't they explode? Someone explodes at some point.
Oh no, that was another group. When they're towards the end, different groups are going out to hunt the shark. And one of them goes a bit mad, starts dumping petrol everywhere. Someone fires a flare gun.
Oh my God!
And the whole thing blows up like Hiroshima. It really does go up.
It was a calamity upon calamity, and it all happened in a space of about 10 seconds. It was hectic editing and people screaming and flares and petrol and explosions. It took us about 5 seconds to work out what the hell we just seen.
That's pretty reminiscent of the actual ending, where they lay a load of dynamite and blow up the shark. The shark splits in half. There's a massive explosion which doesn't hit them, despite the fact it's under their boat. And then they cut to everybody laughing hysterically in that stereotype 1980s cartoon way, the way everyone would laugh at the end of a film or TV show or cartoon. But they're all laughing, and they keep zooming into faces. It makes everyone look insane.
That was really weird. It keeps zooming into everyone's smiling, gnashing teeth. It was are we now afraid of are these now Jaws? Is this now the shark? Has the shark spirit taken over the main actors? It was bizarre, really bizarre. Talking of bizarre, a lot of inappropriate music over scenes where it was just undercutting the tension.
Oh yeah, really poor music choices throughout, but not bad music, just badly judged.
Well, you say that, Gary, but do you remember the party scene?
I do actually, yeah. The single
with the live band.
Yeah, that was very silly.
So the music was like some terrible schlock 80s hair metal nonsense, you know, like Bon Jovi or Whitesnake or something. But and it was meant to be live music at a party and everyone's dancing. Then when you see the band, it's like this little like run of the mill guy with a keyboard and some woman in a flowery dress, and it's just those two. No relation to what is actually being heard or played.
Yeah.
The song is awful. So there's actually quite a lot of stuff to talk about in this, but I can't process it all. There's another line I'd like to enunciate to you. We have to keep seeing each other behind in secret. So that's some girl talking to some guy. We have to keep seeing each other behind in secret. So
there were a couple of lines clearly misdelivered that they just went, "Nah, that'll do," and just moved on.
Yet again, another alternate title for this film.
Yes, exactly. Jay, would you recommend people watch Cruel Jaws?
I would absolutely recommend this film.
I have to agree. I think it's silly enough and just bad enough. And it also moves along the lick. A lot of these films we watch, we're like, oh my God, there's still half an hour to go. This was like, hey, there's only 5 minutes to go. And barely looked at the time, which...
It's worth just briefly mentioning the editing. The editing was frenetic. It just like would cut and cut and cut. And some of the transitions from one scene to the next were so frenetic that they were hilarious.
Oh yeah, you'd be in the middle of a shark attack and just cut to something else without giving you time to like soak in the terror of the scene or to feel empathy. Just like bang, we've got something else to do, mate. Let's move on.
I mean, wasn't there a cut that I compared to the best edit ever created in cinema?
Yes, there was. Yeah, there was. That was when the shark exploded at the end, and then they cut to the dolphin, which reminded you of what?
So the shark at the end explodes, and then it cuts to a dolphin leaping out of the water, which reminded me of 2001: Space Odyssey, where the ape throws the bone into the air and it turns into a spaceship.
Yeah, you couldn't be more
off the mark.
Accurate. Yes, I'm sure that's what they're aiming for.
Off the mark. Another alternate title for this film.
Off the shelf.
Shodorama. There's many. It's already got about 3 titles, so I'm just adding to that already established. Yeah, I recommend this film. It's absolute schlock nonsense and very entertaining, and won't take up too much of your brain or time.
No, definitely not enough of your brain. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you've watched Cruel Jaws, let us know about it on Twitter at We Watch Bad Films, also on Instagram, same title. But for now, thanks very much. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
See you next time.